more people like you who have the same amount of passion to be able to start such conversations and, you know, drive these conversations home, especially at a time now when more than ever, you know, we need to be talking about climate change because of the impact and the effects it's having globally. So Bilha, we've got some good news that you are one of the 2 Kenyans who are actually a part of the African Youth Climate Finance Fellowship. That's going to be running for 9 months. It started in January and you are actually one of the 2 Kenyans. So how does it feel? Firstly, congratulations. Thank you for representing us out there. We absolutely love to hear this.
Thank you.
And what exactly are you doing in this fellowship and why is it so important?
Okay, so the Africa Youth Climate Finance Fellowship is an initiative by African Climate Ambassadors Program and Jacob's Ambassadors Program that is empowering young people. So there's about 30 Africans from Comoros, Ethiopia, Uganda, Tanzania, all represented on the table. And the idea is for us to not just get the tools to combat climate change, but to understand the money behind climate change. So just to put this into context, imagine going for dinner and then you had a salad. Everybody else had a steak, meat, chicken, all of that stuff. And then you're stuck with the biggest bill at the end of the night, right? We decide, okay, we are splitting the bill equally amongst us, and somebody had a Prosecco, for example, or champagne, and I just had water and a salad. Does that seem fair to you?
No.
Exactly. So that's exactly what climate finance is all about. 5% at the moment, Africa is most affected by climate change, despite the fact that it has contributed least to the problem. So what does that mean? If only less than 5% of the global climate finance is coming to Africa, how are we supposed to solve the problems that we didn't even create to begin with?
Absolutely.
So,
because you know, you actually mentioned a very, very important point, because the truth is that most of these issues have come from the West, right? That's the root cause of all these climate change issues that we're seeing and climate change in general. Because here, yes, fine, we don't live as sustainably as we could possibly, but I feel like in terms of the big corporates, in terms of the industries, you know, the carbon emissions, the deforestation, I feel like we are at a much lower rate in comparison to the West.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. And yet, we are the most affected by climate change. And even worse, people who live below the poverty line are being displaced, losing their homes. In fact,
today I was at Mukuru, and it's interesting that you mentioned Kibera, because you said that, you know, during the droughts they lost their homes and livelihoods. Same thing here at Mukuru. Today we went there, we're doing a piece there, which you'll be seeing soon, by the way, if you're watching right now. So watch out for that feature next week. But apart from that, it's interesting to see that these people are still going about their lives like nothing has happened. Yes, they've been affected in the most drastic way, and these are things that they did not deserve because they did not start any of these. Do you know, it's so sad to see that they're the ones suffering the most while they had nothing to do with what is going on.
Exactly, and that's exactly why that needs to change. And how does that change? We are changing the conversation from one of give us money, give us money. The fellowship is empowering young people across Africa to understand what climate finance means. How can we bring investments to Africa and not just get foreign aid, but also private investment? How can we start funding the projects we're doing, monetizing the projects so that we can make money out of them? The green economy is huge. It's not just about, you know, saving the planet. You can actually make a lot of money from coming up with innovations, green innovations to help the planet. So how do we then get empowered to understand how climate finance works, so that when we're having these discussions around investments in Africa, we are empowered. We're not just asking for aid or help.
Yes.